everybody. So I am going live now, and I am waiting for my family to tell me that this is working out because Facebook changed their setup and it looks a little different. I just want to make sure I've got volume and picture. So I am just going to wait here for them. It says I'm live. I'm trying to read my screen. Yeah. And then here's the little question area. Awesome. Okay. So I'm waiting to see what they're going to tell me, if they can hear me before I get started. I have something new that I want to show you guys that I have found. I'm going to move this over a wee bit here. Okay. It is a food product, and I don't know how many of you know about this. Can you see this? This is called, I'm getting a message that you can't see me. Hold on, before I get into the food. Let me find out what they can't see or hear. Huh. Okay, now we're good. All right, let's start that over. Hi, everybody. So, let's go back to the food item I wanted to show you. I feel like this is my little show and tell. So, here is something that my friend showed me, Anna, and it is called Lily's Dark Chocolate. And what is nice about it is that it is sweetened with stevia, so it makes it lower in carbs. So, if you're doing a low carb diet, if you're doing a keto diet, if you're doing, let me see, I think even if you're doing paleo, it's got erythritol, inulin, lecithin, cocoa was the first ingredient, vanilla, and stevia. So it's totally fine for paleo. It might work if you're on a low FODMAP diet, although it does have some inulin in there and the sugar alcohol. So if you know you don't tolerate any sugar alcohol, it won't feel good. But if you're diehard about chocolate like me, you probably try it anyway and just find out for the sake of experimentation, right? Anyway, so Lily's Dark Chocolate. I did not find it at Kroger. I did find it on Target's website. I didn't look in the store to see if it was there, but I just ordered it, and Amazon has it for sure. It's kind of pricey, so you want to make sure that you have a recipe that you're going to enjoy and eat. But anyway, Lily's Dark Chocolate. I'm not even getting paid to do this. I just wanted to share things that are in my pantry. I should tell them and maybe get some kind of compensation, whatever that might be. Okay, so tonight I wanted to talk about eating out, but still trying to be healthy, because it's probably the number one question I get in a visit with my patients, right? Is I spend all this time going through this diet with them and what I want them to follow, what makes sense for their body. And no matter what plan I put people on, because it's very unique and individualized per person, I still am always going to follow a couple of basic rules. And it's going to be, and you'll see this all over my materials that I write, it's going to be high quality foods matter. Everything should be the best quality that you can find, and that's not always going to happen when you eat out. You should always try to do lower carb. Now, I don't mean anything. I just mean lower carb. So instead of an entire bowl, like giant bowl of pasta for dinner, that would be very high carb. So maybe a portion of pasta and then other things with it. Okay, so just lower carb. So it was high quality, lower carb, and cook it at home from scratch from whole food ingredients. So it should just look like where it grew from, where it came from, be it an animal or a vegetable or fruit, anything like that. It just should look similar to where it came from, because that ensures that it is the healthiest thing that you can eat. It is a food that your body recognizes. So those are always going to be true for any human. Like, that's always going to be a very basic like diet recommendation for humans in general, and that will never be wrong. It's all the details, that change all the time and confuse everybody. So us included. We're confused too. Hopefully less confused because we keep up to date with things and we see what works for people, but there's a lot out there and everybody claims to be the expert. So anyway, given all of that I ask people to do because it actually changes how they feel and their health and how they look, they think, oh God, that all sounds good, a lot of work, but good. What about eating out? Sometimes I'm too busy to cook. Sometimes I just don't want to. And sometimes I have a party or an event or somewhere I need to go. Well, in the beginning, like in my 20s, I used to be really strict and crazy about all this. So it was like, no, you have to follow the rules. But that didn't get me very far personally and publicly. So, then I had children and then everything changed, right? Then it was like, I don't care what I eat right now. I just need to get fed so I can be a nice mom. Anyway, so that's where I'm headed with this, is that there's got to be balance. There's got to be balance, and it's not the end of the world if you are out of balance for a meal or a day sometimes, right? So there's a very huge difference between eating out every day. I forgot what documentary I watched. Maybe it was Super Size Me, where this man ate a McDonald's Big Mac every day for like 30 years or however long they've been making them. And I thought that was something. But he was still walking and talking and he wasn't really obese. So, wow, I guess. But, that should never be our goal. But anyway, my point is that there's got to be some balance. So I think if most of the time we make great decisions and we feel better from them and, labs improve or whatever your goal is improves, it's okay to eat out every now and then, as long as it doesn't completely derail you. Now, like if you're just a week into your new food plan and you're like, oh, she said I could go out to eat, no problem. And then you go out to eat and you blow everything and then you're like vomiting or feeling awful and, cursing me in bed at night, then, maybe it was too soon. So for a lot of people coming to me with GI problems or autoimmune diseases, we need a lot of time for healing. So maybe, for a few months, it's not a great idea to eat out. But it also depends where you choose too, now that I think about it, right? That they're not all the same. There's very big differences between the places that you can go. So that's what I want to talk about is all the details in there, okay? So hopefully I don't forget anything, and if you have questions, let me know. I see the comments in here now. Awesome. So if you have questions, let me know what they are, and I will try to remember to look over here. And if you watch this after and you have questions, just post them, and I think it will let me know, and I will answer them then, okay? Or you can always directly email me, and I'm always here to help you out, okay? So at the end of this, I'm going to post a link, and I love doing handouts because there's just so much to know with nutrition, and I like it all written in one place. And plus, it's too much to explain during every appointment I have with patients. So I put things on paper so you can take it home, and then there's really no excuses for not knowing how to do it. So this one is called Staying Healthy While Eating Out. I don't know if I'm very creative labeling them, but that's what this one's called. So it's going to go through what I'm going to talk about basically tonight. But you can go and download this so you have a copy, and you can always remember what I was talking about. Okay, so I have my list here as usual I have to refer to. All right, so what are the problems with eating out? The problems with eating out, depending on where you go, it will vary how bad it is. In my mind, like the very worst, maybe it's carnival food now that I really think about it, but I guess in general, to what's available, it would be fast food, honestly. They're not really cooking from scratch. They're not, there's not really any whole foods you see there. Maybe in a salad you could try and make an argument for that. But generally speaking, burger and fries or, tacos and all that, it doesn't taste like what you make at home because it's not the same food like when you make it at home. It's got completely manufactured ingredients that just make it delicious, I think I might push a baby down the stairs to get one of those things because they're so good and addicting, and they hit all of the bitter, sweet, salty, umami parts of the mouth because they're engineered that way. They know how to sell. They know how to market. They know stuff. So it's no surprise that people love it. So I'm not saying it's not delicious. I'm just saying, maybe it's a hard stop for you. I know for our family it is. We just don't go. We just don't do it. So that to me is a big extreme of like, probably just try to cut that out. But if you do it, occasionally, it's really not going to be the end of the world for you or your health, okay? And then I would say the middle of the road in my mind would be like restaurants. And then the other, the best foods to eat out would be more like fine dining or places that serve more homemade or whole food looking items. So I'll go through what my examples are of those in a bit, all right? The problem, though, with eating out is that they're going to be putting lots of things in your food that are very inflammatory to your body. And it doesn't matter where you go. I've been to very, very nice steakhouses where I ask for an actual side of butter, and it's still margarine. I can still taste that it's not actually butter. So, that's what they're using. So I don't think I talked about this too much last week, but vegetable oils are extremely processed and highly inflammatory, very high in omega-6 fats, which we are too high in as a society anyway, which is why we're really so inflamed. We need more of those omega-3s and less of the omega-6s to bring us more into a balance and help with everything. You know the whole fish oil story. Everybody says, hi, Angela. Everybody says, there's a lot in the media about that, and people know about it. So I won't get into the details there, but we just don't want too many inflammatory fats because it's just incredibly inflammatory to every part of the body. And they don't leave your body very quickly. They, everything, if you've ever taken biology, you know that every cell membrane has a fatty layer around it. Your brain is mostly fat, and we need that baby to work right. There's fats in your hormones and cholesterol just everywhere. So we want to have the right fats going in and becoming us. That's the whole idea of eating. So cliche, it hurts me to say it, so I won't. But the things you eat become you. If you know the cliche, you know what I'm saying. So there are the vegetable oils, which we don't want. And instead, what do we want to cook with at home? Coconut oil, avocado oil, grass-fed butter, any other oils that can withstand heat, or the ones that can't, use them raw, like extra virgin olive oil, okay? Other things that you're going to find in foods out are sugar. They're everywhere. Even if you think you're eating a savory dish, they're adding sugar because it's that, Dr. Mark Hyman calls it food porn. So I will honor his phrase for that. He's such a nice guy, and to hear him say that cracks me up. But it is the salty, sweet, and the fat all together that is irresistible. And if you think of some of your favorite dishes, it's that salty, sweet, and fatty, like, oh gosh, now why can't I even think of it? Like caramel corn, right? That's the salty, the sweet, and the fat. Things like that where it's all together. Even donuts, there's salt in those, even though you think you're eating a sweet treat. But even burgers, like McDonald's, burgers and fries, it's all got sugar in it, even though it doesn't look like a sweet thing to be eating. So most restaurant foods put that in there, okay? You're going to get a lot of MSG. That's a preservative they're still using. That's why the restaurant ranch tastes so good. No matter which one you buy at home, it is not like the restaurant ranch because there's MSG in it. Or even if you look at Hidden Valley and those brands, they're going to have MSG in it too. That hasn't changed yet. If you avoid gluten, you're going to find flour everywhere when you eat out. In breadcrumbs, in thickened sauces and gravies, it's going to be there. So, those are just a few things of, why restaurant food, it's like you don't have control over the ingredients. So if you do it constantly, it will build up and be a bad thing for you. And, we can see now, especially in light of the pandemic, that a lot of prevention helps, and food, hey Renee, and food is a huge part of prevention. And those of you that have changed your diet and seen what can happen know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so I have to keep checking my list because I forget things. I'm a huge list maker. All right, okay, so we don't want to eat out because of those things, or we don't want to eat out often because of those things that I mentioned. The inflammation and the sugar and the MSG, those are the vegetable oils, I mean, those are all going to increase your cravings every day too. And it's going to kind of make you like obsess a little bit about the foods that you had and think, well, maybe I'll just have it again tomorrow, and maybe I don't have enough time to cook dinner, and the kids like it, and oh, she got an A in that class, so maybe I should bring it home, and all the self-talk that we do, because I've done that, maybe not. And then, you go down the road you don't want to go down. And then it costs a lot of money too. It's not cheap anymore to eat anywhere, not even fast food. It's really expensive. So, cook at home. Okay, but this is about eating out. So, what else do I want to say? All right. When you're going out, you can still control what you're choosing and just make the best decision possible, right? You can choose from the appetizers. I've done that a bunch of times where I'll go to a restaurant and some of the other meals seem like too iffy or complicated, and there could just be something on the appetizer menu like a small salad, with goat cheese and beets on it, and then maybe some beef tips, and I'll ask to see if there's gluten in the sauce or something like that. So I might take two separate things and put them together, or I just outright ask them, or I make up some story that, I have an intolerance. They don't know the difference usually between an allergy and intolerance, and I'll just say, I really need it to be prepared this way. But this is kind of the way the world is turning now, which is awesome. And they are usually, I haven't really come across any resistance actually for a while about having them, change the meal for me. Salads are always safe. And you can build them, and in America we have great salads. They're like a meal, they're hearty. So you can get a salad for your meal and have them change around the ingredients. Now, we're never going to get totally away from the sugar and the vegetable oil, because if you get a meat, a salmon, and they grill it, or, even a burger, really, it's going, let's go back to the salmon or the chicken. It's going to probably be marinated in a vegetable oil-based blend, right? And you can't really control that. You can ask them for a dry piece of meat, maybe, if they have it, but then why are you going out to eat and paying $15 for that plate? So, I get mad one way or the other. I get mad at the vegetable oil and the sugar and the crap, or I get mad that it tastes bad and I paid so much. So we just don't eat out a lot is the real answer to that. But sometimes we do. Sunday is my daughter's 16th birthday. And we're going to go out to eat. And it's not going to be what I normally cook at home. But I'm going to make my peace with that, and I'm going to enjoy what I eat. I'm going to make a better choice. I already looked at the menu, and, I'm going to get a meat, and I'm going to get a vegetable. And if I'm feeling like doing some carbs that day, I just might, or I might not. But I know that meat is not going to be grass-fed. I know that the chicken's not going to be organic. I know that any dressing I get on a salad is not really going to have olive oil in it, because I've asked a lot of times, and I know the difference between taste. Even the crappiest olive oil doesn't taste like nothing. So I'm over it. I don't think any place really uses good quality, and it costs so much more. And things are competitive now. So I kind of can't blame them, but meh, that's how it is. So anyway, in this handout on the top part, I have a section here. I like to always suffer and try to do this pointing thing. There's this top part that says what to do before you even go out to eat. So investigate the restaurant. Most people don't want to make the decision anyway, right? You're texting in your little group chat. You're saying, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? And no one can decide. So you can be the hero, everybody. You can be the hero. And you can say, I'll make the decision. It's okay. And then you decide where you want to go. And then everyone's going to agree, and they're going to be relieved that you chose. But secretly, you know that you are going to be the one benefiting from this. And you can decide to go wherever suits your needs. So so that's my trick to that. And it works. It works well. So you want to choose where you're going to go. You want to look up the menu first. Or by now, maybe you know your favorite place and what they have that you can tolerate. So go there. I already said, okay, so ask for exactly what you want. People do that now. A lot of places even have the little asterisks on the menu with like gluten-free or dairy-free or vegetarian or whatever, so that makes it convenient, because then you can kind of rule out what's in the menu or recipe. You want to, if you're really, everyone should avoid things with like lots of gravies or sauces or breading, because not because that's bad. I do that at home. I just made Mongolian beef tonight, but I knew what I put in it, right? I used coconut aminos, not soy sauce. I used a paleo maple syrup, or not maple syrup, barbecue sauce, not, a regular corn syrup filled barbecue sauce in it, because I didn't have another ingredient. So I was in control of what I put in it. But when you're eating out, you're just not going to be. So maybe you want to avoid the sauces and the breadings and not have them. And higher end restaurants, they're going to have better ingredients for you. It still isn't going to be like ultimately the best, but it's still going to be better, and you can taste the difference. You just know it. So yeah, those are my tips on choosing a restaurant. I'm still going to give you the list of where I like to go to eat. And then, the second part of this right in here is types of restaurants. So if you want to, let me try and think how to say this. If you're like paleo or AIP or even low FODMAP, like if you're basically looking for like a meat and a vegetable kind of place and you can't tolerate a lot of extras or weird ingredients in your food, go to a steakhouse or go to a fish house, because almost always, I guess I don't need to hold that up, almost always they're going to have a steak or a piece of chicken or a piece of fish, and then they're going to have like a vegetable side, even if it's green bean salad or even if it's just a dumb side salad. And if you really want to be picky, you can bring your dressing. I did that for a while, and then I realized it wasn't making a giant difference whether I lugged it and stressed about it spilling or not, so I stopped. But those kinds of places are going to have the very individual items, and then you just eat the portions that are, whatever for your plan that you're on. So I like a steakhouse. Oh my gosh, have you guys been to Fogo de Chao? That's great. That's great if you eat meat and vegetables. Everything there is very simple, very whole foods. And I mean, obviously tons of meat. And I don't advocate a crazy high protein diet, but on that day when you go for the price, I would say enjoy it. Eat as much as you can. Okay, breakfast restaurants. You can still go to breakfast. Now, you may not be able to go and get that giant fluffy German pancake if you are trying to, watch your carbs or avoid gluten, but you can still go to a restaurant and get eggs, and you can tell them not to cook it or scramble them with milk if you have a problem with dairy. You can still get the hash browns. Those are really simple. That's pretty much just hash browns that they fry, or not fry, but like griddle. You can get breakfast sausage, and it's not going to be super high-end pork, but you can still get, a sausage. You can get things and feel like you had a breakfast. You don't have to look so different from your friends, right? You can always get fruit and cottage cheese. You could get a bowl of oatmeal. It just depends on what your plan is. But you can go out to breakfast. It just might not be the giant stack of, French toast with like cream cheese and jelly in between and the maple syrup and then double dipped and fried, and I don't know what they do to it. But anyway, so, you can still go out is my point here. Mexican is another great one. You can always, I think, stay on your plan. I'm thinking of all the different plans that I recommend. But I think you can get by with Mexican with just about anything because, again, you can get a taco salad. That's a lot of vegetables and meat. You can add the olives for the fat. You can add salsa and sour cream if you handle dairy. If you don't do dairy, then you avoid the cheese and the sour cream part. We get fajitas all the time, and we just don't use the wrap. Of course, it's more delicious with the burrito shell, but it depends on the day. So most of my family's gluten free. And one of us can't have dairy. One's allergic to chicken. The other one can't have beans. I mean, it's a silly list, but we figure it out. We make it work. But we just get the fajitas. That's just meat and peppers and onions grilled, and then if you can have the cheese, then you do the cheese. If you can have the shell, have the shell. You can do it any way you want. So those are the things we get mostly there. The rest do come in shells of, tostadas or anything like that. So you just have to count it. That's all. Okay. So like a fast food, this is me like naming a place. Qdoba and Chipotle. There's not a lot of fast places we can eat at because, like I said, fast food's like a hard stop for us. But Qdoba and Chipotle is very fast, and it's basically whole food looking, right? You can get a salad bowl and you can put meat. I mean, they have tons of great things on there, so you can put it all on and enjoy that. If you can't have dairy, my one daughter can't have any dairy at all, but she gets everything else. It's so flavorful, the rest, and then you add the guacamole, which adds that kind of creamy, fatty flavor. She's fine. She doesn't miss it. So that's a nice fast food place to go. Okay, I'll read the rest of the list later. You can go to a burger joint. By that, I mean, all I can think of around here would be like a Five Guys. I've been there in a pinch, like traveling, or you're out with the whole crowd and everyone has a hankering and you're like, yeah. So I've totally gone and done that. I just get it bunless, and again, this is me aiming for low carb. And in general, I recommend lower carb because we get into big time trouble with way too many carbs in the diet. I don't care who you are. It doesn't work out very well. There's a slight few, but I think they just have different metabolisms. So anyway, so you can go to a burger joint. Five Guys, they do a bunless burger. And I think they even call it a lettuce wrap now, but it's not, I don't know. Mine wasn't really wrapped in lettuce. It just had all the toppings on it. And they have lots of fun toppings. So those were good. And if you want your carbs that night, you could get the fries. Yes, they're fried in vegetable oil. Yes, that is like the ultimate no. But, if it happens once every 6 months, it's, again, not the end of the world. Because the point is to not live a highly stressed life because you're afraid to eat. I've had so many patients come to me very afraid because they've been really sick. They're very validated in how they feel because they've been through the ringer. They've had their entire life disrupted by their GI tracts, or their autoimmune disease. And it feels very connected to food. And then they get a lot better with food. And then they're even more afraid, right? Because now they don't want to go back to how they felt before. And they're a little panicked about how to eat out. And sometimes they lose too much weight because they're restricting so much, So that's the part of my job where I'm encouraging them to, reintroduce things and eat a little more and try new things. And don't be too stressed about it because it's going to just slam your adrenal glands. If you don't know what those do, boy, you count on those babies every day. They're right above your kidneys. I guess you can kind of see where I'm pointing. They're right above your kidneys, right near the bottom of your rib cage in your back. And they're teeny tiny little guys, but they are that whole cortisol releasing organ. I'm sure you've heard the whole story about if you're stressed, you release lots of cortisol, and it contributes to weight gain and probably every other problem in the body because, we need sometimes, right? Like if you want to lift a car off your kid or something. I mean, that was a horrible example, but, we need some, but we shouldn't live in this chronic state of stress. And you worrying about where you're eating out is another layer of stress I don't want to add to. So I want you to go happily and not have any guilt and just show up and, eat what you feel comfortable with and find that like happy ground of like, it's pretty good for me and I'm happy eating it and I didn't have to cook, and maybe I'm celebrating and maybe I'm having a vodka soda, which is gluten-free. But, that's what I want us to do. So, sushi's a great one you can eat at because that is definitely whole food and raw. If you eat the raw things, and those are actually very digestible for the body and super high in the omega-3s, very low in the omega-6s, like I was talking about at the beginning. So it's actually very anti-inflammatory, especially if you have it rolled with the eggs. I don't know what they're all called, but the ones that have the fish eggs on them, the roe or caviar or whatever the different kinds are called, those are incredibly high. That's a very traditional ancient food people ate, and it was excellent for brain health and everything else that omega-3s do. And the salmon, the tuna, those are all high in omega-3s. And it's better if they're raw. I think that's gross, but I do it anyway because I want to be a good example for my children. And, I want the benefits, although I take the pills, I have to be honest. And then my last and my favorite is Mediterranean food. Anyone on any diet really. I'm trying to think. Even vegetarians can go there and find healthy food. They're very whole food based, and I think it's flavorful, but not too much. In case you don't love a lot, like Indian might be the other end of that spectrum, but there's a lot of hidden things in Indian food. But the Mediterranean dishes are very simple, and you can see what all the things are that you're eating. So most people do great there. And there's a lot of to-go ones too, where it's prepared already. So that could be like a fast food type thing. Okay, so let's slide into that. What are the places that I go to? Now, I don't know if everybody on here is from Michigan, but I don't know if everything I'm going to mention is national. Okay, so the fast foodie type places that we might go to. Again, it's really limited, and so it gets old fast. But we would do the Qdoba and Chipotle. And even though sometimes their service has been not so fabulous, we go anyway because we're desperate. So that is a good one. We have been to Jimmy John's, and we would get the unwich, which is a lettuce wrap of any of their sandwiches. Although it's all lunch meats, so you're gonna get that whole thing, and it's not like you're getting Boar's Head lunch meat that it's at least a lot better, right? It's just lunch meat. But I also ask people weigh the options. Would I prefer McDonald's or would I prefer Jimmy John's? Always Jimmy John's. Would I prefer Jimmy John's or would I prefer a homemade meal of Whole Foods? Always the homemade meal. But, we don't always have all the options at the same time to compare. So just work with what you've got. We've been on a vacation before, driving to New York, and Pennsylvania has like nothing on that main highway, whatever that is. There's like nowhere to eat. And every gas station has like a Subway or like something in it that like none of us could figure something out in. So I've literally had gas station snack packs of like 2 boiled eggs and cheese sticks and a pack of nuts. Like I've had this for meals, and it's fine. I mean, I get full and I recognize the foods, but sometimes the options just don't work, and that's okay. You make do with the situation, and that's fine, because then we're happy and we're calm, and then our bodies are happier too. So, trying to think what other fast foody kind of places I've been to. I feel like that's it. We just don't do it a lot, so it's pretty limited out there. If you guys think of any, shout them out to me. That's healthy and like fast food, like you can walk in and kind of walk out. Yeah, I can't think of it right now. All right, so then other places we go to are pretty much like my list. We'll go to steakhouses. I mentioned Fogo de Chao, or any kind of Brazilian restaurant. Those are ideal. Those are fabulous. If any of you live here in Michigan, there's a place called Sahara. It's Mediterranean, and they have grass-fed beef there and organic poultry. I think they just have chicken. But that is amazing. They started that like 2 years ago, I think. And, I never double checked in the cooler, but I trust them when they have the sign up. So we love Mediterranean, so we go there anyway. But there's one in Troy, and there's one up on Hall Road in Macomb or Shelby, whatever that city is, by Lakeside Mall there. But and anyway, so they have excellent food, and it actually is grass-fed. Now are they using olive oil? I don't know, but it's okay. I don't go there often, like once every 3 or 4 months, so no biggie. What else did I write down? We've done fish, but I can't think of any particular one. It doesn't matter. You get the idea, though, right? Like a fish house, steak house. We've done... what else? We've done sushi, and they have other options there too. Oftentimes they'll have noodle dishes for the kids, so you can go and be a good model and eat your sushi in front of your children, and maybe they'll be brave and taste it. We have a salad place that we like going to. Now, for sure, they put sugar in their salad dressings because my salads don't taste like that. But again, it is like a fast food place that we go to. So, every few months, it's not a big deal. We go, we enjoy it. It's good, and they have lots of kinds of salads. And again, you can shape it to just about any diet, unless you have IBS and you can't tolerate fresh salads. Then you might not want to go there. And they have soup, so you could do that. But we like that. There's one on Hall Road, again, by me in Macomb here, and it's called Salad Chef, I think. They've changed names. So I'm pretty sure that's it. So you can see if there's one by you or a different one by you, but it's nice to run it and get like a good hearty meal and get different flavors than you make at home. All right. What else do I want to say? At the bottom of my page, I also have this little part here about how to balance your meals. And I mentioned this in the beginning too. Now, these aren't like a ton of details that I give on my diet educations when I hand them out to you during a consultation, but it will show you that each plate should be mostly vegetables. I still love a plant-based diet whether you're eating meat or not, because we need more plants. We need to eat that. There's so many phytonutrients that are critical to our DNA health, and the fiber and the filler that it is, so that you can just have, you know, a rational size portion of protein, be it animal or eggs or anything like that, or in addition to the half plate of vegetables, little portion of protein, you want a little portion of carbohydrate if you're not doing a keto diet. And so that would be a whole food, okay? So that's just a little map on here. And then I throw out a couple percentages for the macronutrients for you to follow if you wanted to put that in an app like MyFitnessPal or Carb Manager, and it will help you manage your macros. Okay, macros are protein, fat, and carbs for those of you who don't know. All right, so I am going to post my handout in the comments. I think that's where it worked last time. And you can go and download this handout if you don't already have it from me. And then when you do that, it will put you on my mailing list, which may send you another welcome message if you hadn't got it before. I don't know if MailChimp recognizes people. And in case you didn't see at the beginning, I was holding up that Lily's Dark Chocolate. It's sweetened with stevia and erythritol, so it's much lower in carbs and very delicious if you are following a low carb diet or keto or anything like that. So I really love that. So look around for good prices, because it's like $7-8 a bag, which kind of makes me unhappy. But at the same time, I eat it and then I'm very happy. So then I get over it. Anyway, so I think that is it. Wait, one more thing. I also wanted to show you guys that I am working on my keto diet. I have 4 diets that I sell to doctors so that they can educate their patients with them. But now I have written the keto plan, and this is for my patients too that come to me for one-on-one. So if any of you are interested in learning keto, if you feel like you need keto, I am not saying everybody should be on keto, but sometimes it really is the right thing. And I didn't know until I did it last year. And now I got back on it again because I like doing the thing before I write about it. It helps me do a better job. But I have the food plan, and so it's very specific and answers all of your questions and takes all of the guessing out, because you could probably learn how to do keto online, but then there's like, how you get like all wrapped up in the reading, and then you're clicking here and you're joining this, and then, it's like too much information. You're not sure exactly anymore how to do it. And so I took all of the best information and ran it through my dietitian head and my dietitian resources that I lean on, for research and what actually works, and then what I see work with patients. And then I wrote it all down for you. So I'm excited to be able to hand that out and start working with it. So if you want to make an appointment, I still have the buy one, get one free with the promo code Mama's Gotcha. So you can go on my website and sign up for that if you want to have a longer chat about your health and nutrition. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for joining me. I love teaching, and it's so nice to be able to do it again. And in my house, how comfy is that? All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.